Hi, I'm Brand.
Dun, dun,
Thank you.
dun,
And
dun,
I love Mission Impossible.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I also love Mission Impossible.
I'm Dan, and I love Mission Impossible, and this is the Deck the Hallmark Podcast. At our best, all over the map.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Woo!
Hi, we're back. We're
Woo,
back.
that's good, MI.
We're back. Another week, another Monday.
Yeah, boy.
Happy Mission Monday, everybody. We're on to the 4th, where we get like special titles.
We get ghosted.
Ghost
Yeah.
That's right.
Protocol.
Sorry
Yes.
about the ghosting, guys.
That's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay.
Good to see you boys virtually.
It is
Yeah.
good
to see you too. Ghosted.
Virtually. I do feel
We
like I've been
get
ghosted
ghosted.
by you
Yes.
a little bit.
There's
so,
a good reason.
All right. Well, really quickly to catch people up that maybe have started with this one. Our buddy Ryan was supposed to be here in person.
If you dove in on Ghost Protocol, Deck the Hallmark, I'm sorry.
I would recommend you go back to MI1 and you'll kind of get the whole.
Go back to the
rundown here.
Palaha
Or maybe
episode
even,
that worked.
or maybe even just like, Prince for Christmas or something like that. Like,
Our buddy Ryan, who was supposed to be here in person, thanks to the kind donations, so we thought
Cletus,
at the
Jackson,
time,
Mississippi. Yeah,
by
that's right.
Cletus in Mississippi to fly him down here each week to do Mission
Every week.
Impossible. That money never got to Ryan, and then for various reasons throughout the past couple of weeks, Ryan has been intimidated to travel, even if he buys a ticket by himself.
It's been tough.
I see today you are wearing a different shirt, which is interesting. So I'll let you take the floor here and kind of give us an update as to why you're not here and kind of what's happened over the past week.
So
Hogwash. Hogwash.
Cletus, the
I'm gonna
beginning of this.
I'm gonna let you finish here in a second, but this hogwash is what it
Cletus,
is.
Even
You be
said
very clear.
anything
Go
yet.
ahead, straight shooter. Let's hear it. You hogwash.
Cletus, the beginning of this is going to sound very familiar to the audience, which I was ready to buy a ticket, but then I got a text from an unknown number that said, quote, "Be careful. Pete Weber said it best. P.S. I reckon I should be chicken of the week." Cletus.
Wow.
Now listen, you don't know nothing about no chickens. First of all, second of all, you ever seen that movie Getting Even with Dad?
Yeah.
Where your dad.
Where does that rank with the Zohan?
I'm just letting you. You listen. You kicked the Zonon's name out of your mouth. You do it.
Now,
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Cletus,
Hello.
assuming this was from you, and I don't have proof.
We don't have proof.
But what does Pete Weber said it best mean?
If you don't know Pete Weber, you need to do some studies. I call him Petey Webbs, and he is quite the man. He's quite the individual, and he owns a chicken farm down here. It's one of the best chicken. His chicken Esmeralda is a mother clucker. She is unbelievable.
What did he say best?
Pete Weber's the you know who you are, I am.
Have you
guy,
ever
right?
seen Getting Even with Dad?
I mean, it's not as good as the Zohan, but
your dad. Think
Now,
about
why
it that
did
way.
you-
Put yourself in the shoes of Dad.
Okay,
Think about it.
I'm there.
We're gonna get even.
Think about it. There must be higher love.
That's
yeah.
right.
Hey,
You're
quickly.
So wait.
You're talking about the bowler, Pete Weber.
You're talking
That's
about the
not who I'm
bowler.
talking about. No.
Interesting. So that's interesting. So Ryan, you thought with that text that he was talking about who do you think you are? I am Pete Weber, professional bowler, which would make sense with your text.
That would make so much sense.
But Cletus-
It's so much sense that would make.
Honestly, Cletus, this maybe proves it wasn't you.
yeah,
yeah.
Cletus, you're bringing
Yeah.
up Pete
This is
Weber,
why I said hogwash.
the local chicken farmer.
This is Pete Weber.
I said hogwash.
Yeah, that's why you
That's why I
said it.
said hogwash.
Now, Cletus, could you understand, though, how as I'm about to buy a ticket, and we've had all these scuttlebutts the last few weeks, that the first two words of this, take the Pete Weber out of it, be careful.
I don't understand a daggum thing that you do ever. I thought in good faith we had a deal. You would come
So
down
did
here.
we, Cletus.
No, Cletus, I was not the
t-shirts.
cause of the issue here.
We'd come down here 3 T-shirts and you would wear them and you go home. Weekend shirt need not apply. But you, no
Shirtless
sir.
Saturdays,
No
yeah.
sir. No sir.
Cletus, do you watch the Chicken Sisters? You a big fan of Jax's
I don't
work?
even know what that is. I don't know who that is. Who's a Jax?
Okay, all right. Well,
All
it
right.
seems like you got a suspicious text.
Baron, do you understand why I wouldn't buy the ticket at this point?
No,
I think it's
don't.
probably better,
come on, dude.
better that you
That's-
don't, Rye Guy. It's
Oh,
probably
Dan, hey, Dan, did you hear any of that?
He sounds like one of a kind. Like he sounds like somebody that is unhinged.
I'll say this.
Dan, did you think it was actor Pete Weber or bowler Pete Weber? Who did you think?
As soon as I heard Pete Weber, I thought about the chicken farmer. I'm going to be honest. That's on me. It's completely on me. I can see how there was a mix up there. I can see all things considered how you thought, and then how then Cletus would have thought you're just accusing him of something he didn't do.
But Cletus didn't write the text.
It seems like there were just two shits passing in the night.
Yeah, well, that's Cletus and I for sure.
That's classic.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let me.
I don't think you're getting down here.
Well, let me try this.
Oh for 4.
Yeah.
Let me
0 for 4.
try this.
Okay.
Cletus, are you still there?
Oh, you bet your
Okay.
sweet bottom.
Are you willing? Thank you. Are you willing to promise that you will not do, say, or text anything to Ryan over the course of the next week that would stop him, prevent him from getting down here next week for Mission Impossible 5?
I can't promise that.
You can't.
I can't promise that.
Say it when we say it a little slower.
I. It's
Uh-huh.
like you guys are. Is this offensive to you that I talk with an accent?
No. I just want to make
No,
sure.
no,
I can't
no.
tell if you're saying can or
I
can't.
can't promise that.
You said it faster that time.
I
Got it?
can't promise that.
He's saying can't, isn't he?
You're not.
I can't promise that.
He's doing that thing. He's doing that thing where he's
Listen closely,
Okay.
you hayseed. I
right.
No,
can't
call.
promise that.
I hear.
Focus on the second word.
The last syllable there of can or can't.
He's
You guys
saying
are-
can't.
You guys are some regular Pete Webbers, is what you are. I can promise that.
Focus on the second word.
Can't.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh. Who do you think you are?
I am. Let's talk.
Oh,
Mission
that's Pete Weber, the bowler. I know him. Wait a minute.
Wow.
Uh-oh. I
Interesting.
think we've been Kaiser Soze.
Another chicken farmer, interestingly enough. Really good work. Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol.
Cinema
what-
Lagoon?
No, it was, it premiered December 7th, 2011 at the DIF, which is the Dubai International Film Festival.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is also after, Tom Cruise had fallen out of the good graces of the, movie-going public. So there was a lot less riding on this one than the other ones because he was an afterthought.
Big premiere in
Yeah,
Dubai,
a Christmas release
Yeah.
for Mission
He got
Impossible.
that Dubai money. That's how he
that
made it.
Dubai money. And then
Yeah.
December 16th, 2011 is when it came out for the rest of us, and it went a little something like this. The movie kicks off with an IMF agent running on a roof, shooting back at people. He jumps off, lands on an inflatable, and somehow he doesn't stick around to jump on it. Suspicious. He spots his target, but it's too late. She shoots him first. Tough break for him. Cut to Ethan Hunt. He's in a Moscow prison. Suddenly, Dean Martin plays over the loudspeaker, and his cell is unlocked. It's all Benji, baby. He's outside in a truck, watching on the camera, unlocking the doors that he needs to escape. But for some reason, Ethan doesn't want to go through the next door that will get him to where he needs to be. He wants to go and get somebody. He goes to free some guy. He takes him with him. Benji's very confused and very reluctant to open these doors because there's like a prison outbreak going on here. They're trying to escape. But it works, and they get into this room. The floor explodes. It drops out underneath them, and they are able to escape. Ethan knows the dude that he brought with him. He was an informer for the IMF, and he knew that if he didn't take him with him, he would be tortured and killed. So he rescued him and granted him his freedom. Ethan, always thinking of others. Jane is new, and she tells Ethan that the guy from the beginning of the movie was Agent Hanaway, and he was killed while intercepting a routine courier drop. The courier was carrying Russian nuclear launch codes, and these are now in the hands of the assassin that killed him. Hunt knows that IMF has been looking for an extremist codenamed Cobalt. Cobalt is known to have a nuclear device, and with the theft of the launch codes, his identity is now the top priority for the IMF. Cobalt was a nuclear strategist for the Russian intelligence, so Ethan has to go to Russia to break into the secret Kremlin archives and locate files that will identify Cobalt. Easy, right? Well, apparently Cobalt is already on the way to the Kremlin, which gives Ethan 5 hours to complete the mission. That's not a very long time. This mission's going great, though, for just kind of thrown together. And when he gets to the archives, he finds that what he needs has already been taken. That's been taken. Then someone taps into the IMF frequency and their cover is blown. So Ethan aborts the mission, and suddenly a bomb destroys the Kremlin, which knocks Ethan out, and he wakes up in a Russian hospital. He finds out that he is now a wanted man, so he escapes because he's Ethan Hunt. The IMF picks Ethan up to catch him up to speed, but their vehicle is attacked. One dude dies, and another dude named William Brandt survives with Ethan. He finds out that the Russians have called the attack an undeclared act of war, and that the U.S. president has activated the Ghost Protocol, which disavows the entire IMF. They've been disavowed.
Unbelievable.
I know. Based on
Again?
Based on Ethan's description of who he saw in the Kremlin with the briefcase, they identify Cobalt as Kurt Hendricks on the Ninth. They believe that Hendricks bombed the Kremlin and got the Russian nuclear launch controlled device and now needs those codes from Budapest. So off to Budapest they go. That's exactly right. Ethan has to hack the server room. Obviously, the only way to do that is from outside with using these special gloves that allow him to hang hundreds of stories in the air. The plan is to make Wistrom, who is there on Hendrick's behalf, to get the real codes, which are actually from Ethan and Brandt, who are getting the codes from another room, acting like they're the buyers. Got it? Good. It's a whole thing, and the plan is going great until the code woman who is providing the codes realizes that Brandt is taking pictures with his eyes, which is unfortunate. Wistrom is getting away, so Ethan chases him into a sandstorm. Ba-da-ba-da-bum. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Turns out,
not sandstorm season.
Hi Wrigley, how are you?
No, it's not sandstorm season.
You
It's out of season.
You like Mission Impossible?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Turns out,
It's all fake, you know.
What do you mean?
One studio stage in Racina.
You don't think that Tom Cruise is
No,
really...
he's not doing any of it.
Wow.
Yep. He doesn't show up half the time, and he's wearing a wig.
How do you know this?
This is normal. Just go look it up.
Well, when I Google it, it says he does all his own
You're
stuff.
busy celebrating Sandstorm on not Sandstorm Week. Just read a book one time.
Bum, ba-da-ba-da-bum.
No, don't get me going. Don't get me going. Shut it down.
Read a book.
So it turns out Wistrom is just Hendricks in a mask, and he gets away. So this is bad news. The team is all mad at each other, and Hendrick got away, and
you got it.
the
Wait for it.
code seller accidentally got killed. They were supposed to bring her in, so that's bad. It's at this. I'm out of breath from Sandstorm.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas. It's at this point that Ethan accuses Brandt of keeping secrets from him because his fighting skills are clearly better than an analyst. And Brandt admits that he used to be an agent on the field. He was actually security detail for Ethan and his wife, Julia. Julia was killed by a Serbian hit squad, prompting Ethan to pursue and kill them before he was caught by the Russians, and that's why he was at the prison at the beginning of the movie.
Good.
You shouldn't sandstorm in the middle of the Mission Impossible, and that's a mistake.
Twice.
You never sandstorm.
Brandt blames himself, and he never wanted to be out on the field again. They get word on where Hendricks is going to go next, so off to Mumbai they go. That's where the movie premiered. They go to a party being thrown.
It did not premiere in Mumbai. It premiered in Dubai.
Oh, yeah.
At the diff.
At the diff.
That's right. Not in
Not the
Mumbai's
myth.
in India.
Not the myth.
Not the myth.
At the diff. They go to a party being thrown by this Indian telecommunications guru. They believe that he has struck a deal with Hendricks and that he's going to use his satellites to do what he needs to do for the boom booms. So Brandt breaks into the server room to take the satellite offline, while Jane gets Hotshot Tech Guy to reveal the satellite override code. But Hendrick takes the servers offline before they can finish the plan. He fires a nuclear nuclear missile to towards San Francisco from a Russian submarine that would look like retaliation for the Kremlin bombing. And the only way to stop this missile is via the abort sequence on the launch device that Hendricks is carrying. Hunt pursues Hendricks and the launch device while the other members of the team are attempting to bring the broadcast station, the satellite, back online so that they can abort the mission when he's able to press the button, it will transmit. Hunt and Hendricks, they fight over to launch control, and he's able to hit the button and the power turns on. 1 second to spare. So no nuclear war today. Plus, the IMF is innocent. They are they're disavowed.
Disavowed.
The team comes together to celebrate and gives him all new missions, and Brant refuses until Ethan explains that Julie isn't actually dead. It was his plan all along, so he doesn't have to worry about it, and Julie is not. It's all good. Off to the next mission they go, and that, my friends, was
Mission Impossible:
Ghost
Protocol.
We did it.
You all right, bud?
You're gonna make it?
I'm fine. Let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about Ghost Protocol here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're talking Mission Impossible 4, Ghost Protocol. It's time for us to share our thoughts on this movie. We're not going to hold back. We're going to start with a hot take, and I will kick it over to Ryan. Ryan, what'd you think of the Ghost Protocol?
Going into this, Bran, Mission Impossible 4 and 5 really blended together for me. There was not a lot of, and that was before this exercise. To me, they were the first two that felt very similar to one another, whereas for the last couple weeks of this, we've talked about how 1, 2, and 3 aesthetically
very different. Yes,
vibe-wise, totally different. 4 and 5, I remember feeling like one cohesive franchise finally. I leave still thinking that there isn't a ton of distinguishing factors to Mission Impossible 4, except the Burj Khalifa, which is arguably the most iconic moment of all of these films, right? If we're making the Mount Rushmore of most talked about and most insane Tom Cruise dunk contest trying to one-up himself type things, the Burj Khalifa is, if not 1, 2, or 3. So I liked this movie. In a lot of ways, though, I thought it was a paint by numbers action movie.
Paint by action numbers movie.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's all about numbers, but there's a lot of action going on.
They make learning fun.
They do.
It's true.
Yeah. And so, like everything in Dubai and India, good time. Like Jeremy Renner, great addition. I missed Luther, and we'll talk about that in the Wait What. But to me, and we talked about this last week, it's and it feels sooner in a lot of ways, but it was last week. I mean, that they're really I think we've reached the point, at least for me, especially because I'm really anticipating 6 and 7, right? And so 4 and 5 was this weird middle ground. My biggest kind of pull was to just see Tom Cruise try to do crazy stuff. I wasn't yaddying the plot, but I also wasn't as invested as maybe I should have been. So not a bad movie. Some cute exchanges between Pegg and Renner, but still not much replay value here for me and low on my list.
Really? Where would you have it, you think?
I would have it second to last right now.
Wow.
If you want the halfway,
give it to me. Halfway to marathon.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll do 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2.
3,
Wow.
1, 4, 2.
Wow.
Okay, so I love this one. I think it's actually a ton of fun. From straight from the beginning, with this breakout sequence is so great. It's so much fun. It's set to Dean Martin. It's the music with the action, it just is so good, and it just keeps getting better from there. The hanging out of the building, phenomenal. So stressful for viewers at home, and it's in the best way. You love it. And then I just felt like the whole movie, the story was really clear to me, what they were doing and why they were doing it, which hasn't always been the case with the first 3 movies. Sometimes along the way, I'm like, why are they doing this and for what reason? And so I felt like this one made a lot of sense, was really great to watch. And then even the ending fight scene on that vehicle vending machine type thing, I can absolutely see Tom Cruise driving by one of those and being like,
Son of a bee.
hey, can you stop the car real quick? And he just watches it and he's like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Like, to see it, I'm like, I can't believe that this hasn't been done before, because there's just so many different things that can go wrong, and they all do while this thing is moving up, getting cards, taking them out. And it's like, it's so much fun. And so I thought that this movie was fantastic. It's my favorite so far. I got 4-3-1-2. 4-3-1-2 for Brian.
Wow.
Dano?
Yeah, this so far is the best Mission Impossible. I'm with Bran on this one. I think for a number of reasons. One,
Finally.
Brad Bird brings a very distinct style to this.
The One Calls the Heart guy.
Different,
Okay.
believe it or not. This is the guy that
Pete
directed
Weber, though.
Pete Weber. Both Pete Weber and Brian Bird work on Mission Impossible. Work on
When
When Calls the Heart.
Got it.
Brad Bird and Pete Weber work on Mission Impossible.
Got it.
It's a very distinct style. He's the guy that did The Incredibles. This is basically his first live action movie. I think it stands out for its distinct feel. I don't think it looks anything like 5 at all, which is crazy that Ryan thinks it does. Not that he's crazy, that it's crazy we both watched the same movie and have that different, like that big of a difference of opinion. I think 5, 6, 7 all very much look and feel the same because they're written and directed by the same exact person. The reason I think this is my favorite, Bran touched a little bit on the fact that I think the plot is that perfect wheelhouse where it's crazy enough for the dumb stunts, but still you can track it and follow it. There's some very inventive stuff happening here, starting with the prison break scene. Burj Khalifa, I'll save that for the feels. It is, in my opinion, maybe the best thing he's ever done in one of these movies. The reason I love this movie is because it breaks every rule of Mission Impossible. The masks don't work. The masks fundamentally don't work. They when they need them most, they don't work.
Machine jams.
There's,
And it's, you know,
there is no MacGuffin in this movie. In the first 3 movies, there's the knock list, there's the rabbit's foot, there's Chimera, there's something that they're chasing down. Yeah. That is not the case
This
in
is
this
just
movie.
nuclear war.
That's right.
Let's stop
also, the team messes up. It's not a mole. So if the team messes up in prior movies, it's a mole. The team just messes up here, which I think is fantastic. This movie makes some jokes at really weird times, occasionally at the expense of the Mission Impossible lore. The mission accomplished thing is hysterical. You either love that or you hate that. I love that. Brad Bird is making a cartoon with real live action people. But most importantly, also the gadgets fail. I think that's always a win for me when the gadgets, it's like all the stuff that you have come to know with Mission Impossible, they break all those rules in service of Tom Cruise really amping up the stunts for the first time. But here's the big one, and this is the hot take I think about this movie is, this is the best IMF team. It's the best one. It's the best one 1 to 8. And I know Luther is not in this movie. I know that Ving Rhames isn't in this movie, and I love Ving Rhames. But the combination of Simon Pegg, Jeremy Renner, and Paula Patton is a perfect combo with Tom Cruise as an IMF team. They are great, and also the ending of this movie brings back the emotion from 3. You have the best stunt, you have the best team, and you have the movie that breaks all the rules. This is the best Mission Impossible movie, at least that we've seen so far. I go 4. Right now, I'm going to go 4-1-3-2. I can easily go 4-3-1-2. 4 and 2 are locked.
Close.
But 3 and 1 are back at neck and neck there.
And then 2's down there.
2 is way down there.
In the depths of hell where Limp Bizkit is
Consensus
hell.
left.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's get to all the fields before we talk about what this movie gave us field. We'll start with you, Braga.
Burj Khalifa is great. I'll probably, Dan's definitely going to talk about it, so I'll save it. But obviously, I think that's probably all of ours, right? But I will say this is the first true Tom Cruise running Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
And so I'll probably mention it every week for the next 5 weeks or however more we have. But this was he's run some in the first
but
3.
Full karate chop hands for long stretches,
yeah.
wide shots.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's only going to get better or worse depending on how you view Tom Cruise running. But it was like a warm hug to know that we had arrived there. So that was nice. Yeah.
You know, it's the sandstorm in this movie, I think, is really fascinating because so much of Mission Impossible is about what you can see, and like getting to see Tom Cruise do all these crazy stunts and all this stuff. But the tension that comes when the sandstorm is hindering your sights is really fun. And it's like, it really I was tense the whole time because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what he's going to run into. You don't know like any of that because of the sandstorm. So I thought that was really, a really clever thing. And I thoroughly enjoyed that in the midst of a lot of different fun things that they do in this movie. I found that one to be like, let's just use the sandstorm. We're there. You
Yeah.
might as well do it. And it turns out to really add to it. Dan?
Yeah. When I saw this movie in the IMAX, I didn't know they weren't coming out with all these featurettes and vignettes about Tom Cruise really doing all this stuff. When I saw the Burj Khalifa stunt on the IMAX, I went, that's so cool how they made him look like he's 130 stories up. Like he's clearly like 2 stories up, and they used a mirror, and that's awesome. It looks so cool that they went practical like Nolan does. And then I found out that he is actually 130 stories up in the air, jumping out of windows, sprinting along the side of the building. It is, look, he's going to do some crazier stuff in the next 4 movies. Some of the stuff he does that's crazy is just a matter of having the courage to do it. Like just being stupid enough to be like, bolt me to the side of this plane. Bolt me to the side of this plane. Like any of us, if we had the fortitude to do that, we could all do that stunt with no training. Bolt me to the side of this plane. It's an amazing stunt, but it's a stunt that it just requires moxie or stupidity depending on where you fall. There are other stunts that require an insane amount of training. Like I'm going to learn how to fly a fighter helicopter in between mountains, or I'm going to, whatever. The combination of skill and entertainment and sheer awe of this set, this piece that he does is unbelievable. He's on the tallest building in the world, hitched to like a carabiner, and he's just sprinting around the thing like he's on an elliptical machine. It is crazy. It is, I even with the skydiving scene that's coming up in 6, to my memory, I've not seen it in a long time, obviously, to my memory, like this is the one scene that felt like you feel when the roller coaster's about to go over the first big hill. I to this day, one of the more memorable moments in a movie theater, and that's what Tom Cruise is going for. And we've yet to transition these movies to Tom Cruise is Ethan Hunt to Ethan Hunt is Tom Cruise. I think that happens in the next movie, not this movie. This movie is this weird hybrid between, the stunt factory of the last 4 and the story of the team and the first 4. This movie is a bit of a bridge, but this set piece in the middle of it, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You find the biggest screen possible with the loudest speakers and watch this scene. It is 15 minutes well worth your time. It's unbelievable. I was completely locked in. It's an amazing scene.
What I also think is great is he doesn't stick the landing.
No.
And so you're left I can't help but just be like, how the amount of times that I've asked myself, how did he do that?
Yeah.
While watching this is I don't know if I can keep track of it, but that particular, when he jumps and just misses it, nails it, they grab him, it was all just so, it felt real to me, dang it.
Yeah.
And it worked real good. It worked real good. Let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll come back with the way one, the Mission Impossible here on Deck the Hallmark. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's Ghost Protocol Day, Mission Impossible 4. It's time for the Way What. It's where we talk about what in this movie made us go, Way What. I'll start with you, Rye Guy.
Yeah, Bran, you just mentioned that he doesn't stick the landing, and I do genuinely love that in that moment they make Ethan Hunt seem human, but I feel like it's totally eradicated by the next moment when there's no scratch, there's no blood, he doesn't say owie, he's like Dom Toretto levels of invincible, even though he doesn't stick the landing. So honestly, kind of like a perfect smorgasbord of a moment. And then honestly, only one other one for me. Again, I didn't dislike this film, but Ving Rhames at the time said he was only in the cameo at the end because the budget just didn't allow for more of him. And I'm like, wait, what? The budget? We're climbing the Burj Khalifa.
That's right.
We can't throw Ving Rhames his usual fee. Because Dan, I agree with you. The team dynamics are great, but Luther would have made the movie better.
Luther's not going to hurt the movie. He's not going to hurt the movie.
So, I mean, I don't believe we have that problem again. I'm pretty sure he's prominently featured the rest of the way. And I'm glad that at least he is able to say the characters in every single one. But come on, budget.
Can I tell you my thought that is just completely like I have no evidence to back this up, but Tom Cruise befriends Simon Pegg in the third one, and they already have a computer guy to tell Tom Cruise where to turn while watching the GPS map, which is what Luther does in the first 3 movies. He's the hacker and he does all this. And then basically Tom makes Simon Pegg that guy in the 4th one. And I think that there was probably a little bit of what do we do with Ving going on here.
Yeah.
Personally. That's what I think. And then they figure it out because he's back and he and Simon Pegg are great together in the last 3 or 4, but I think that's what's going on. I think that budget thing's hysterical. I read that because I was like, why was he in this? And they're like scheduling conflicts and budget. I'm like, what did Ving Rhames have to go record a bunch of Arby's commercials? There's no way way that it's budget or scheduling. Just make up something realistic. I don't buy that for a second.
Well, that's the thing. I love Ving Rhames, and he works a lot, but like nothing else to the caliber of Mission Impossible.
Yeah. No one is besmirching the name of Ving Rhames. I want to be very clear here.
I think he had the time though, and I think they could have landed on a price point that would have worked for all parties.
You think so?
Yeah.
I have a suspicion. I have a suspicion. Yeah. I have a few.
You can go now. Here we go.
Sometimes the thing is,
Whenever
we watched it a while ago.
A long time
sometimes
ago,
I read the right what's, and I'm like, it doesn't quite work out. But there is when the getaway, when he's trying to get away from that guy or whatever, and they do this thing, leaving the hospital, he shows his gun and then doesn't fire it. Yeah. Even though Ethan's right there, he could have done it, but sometimes you just gotta show him the gun. Show him so that they have time to run away. That was really nice of this really bad guy in Russia. Yeah, have you ever tried to write on your hand? Because I have. Yeah. And it's like you can get by with some stuff and you're like, I can make out what that is or whatever. What he does here is he, from memory, draws a picture of that guy from the hospital on his hand
in portrait form.
Does it look a bit like the leprechaun guy from that YouTube video? Yeah, it does a little bit. But the detail in which he is able to draw on his hand, it's as if it was like tattooed on him. I don't know a pen that could make it do that with that fine like of detail on your hand, which is like, I don't know. It was very impressive. They teach you that at the IMF.
Yeah,
school.
at the IMF, portrait scale writing on your hand is next level.
You got to learn how to do it if you want to make it in this business.
Can't graduate without it.
No. Yeah. And then when they get to the big party at the telecom guy's house, they do a comm check, but Ethan and what's her name, Jane, are standing right next to each other. And he's like, let's do a comm check. And she's like, present. And it's like, well, how do you know if they're right next to your ear in person? Can you really comm check it? I don't know. It did seem like unnecessary at that point in time, but I don't know. What do I know? Dano?
Yeah. Jeremy Renner, could you make it look a little more obvious that you're scanning documents with your eyes? Yeah. I thought you were a spy. This guy has an eye scanner contact, which, okay, fine. He's doing this, and then he goes, and then he looks around like, dude, your job is to be inconspicuous, not to like in broad daylight, like advertise that you're doing something shady with these documents. That was crazy. And somebody may be able to correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure this is a fairly big wait what that they play as a joke, which is after the big Burj Khalifa stunt, Tom then switches into a suit and then to go to this meeting and they check him. And in his suit pocket were his goggles from the Burj Khalifa stunt. Yeah. Why were they in his suit jacket pocket?
Because there was a sandstorm coming later.
At some point, Ethan Hunt took off his run around the tallest building in the world outfit, put on a suit, and then saw his goggles, which he needed for the wind, and went up and put those in his suit jacket pocket. Weird. What? Go ahead.
Checks out to me.
Go ahead.
I thought there was a moment where he's like about to enter. He's like either in the elevator or he's about to enter, and he realizes he still has them on him. And so he quickly takes them off and shoves them in the pocket.
I don't, maybe. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
All right,
but
I trust you. Why did he have them on his suit?
Sometimes you forget.
Where were they?
They were on his head. Is that what you're saying?
I can't. I feel like I can't. I'll go back and watch it. But
I mean, there's no way you're making that up.
but
You're right.
I just remember, like, I just thought there was this moment where he was like, "Oh no," and then he just like threw them in his.
You chuck them. You just chuck them. You chuck them anywhere other than in your suit pocket.
But thank goodness he didn't, because I don't know if you've heard about Sandstorm.
That's right. And then Erin Shea at the office routinely, when she watches movies that are Hallmark movies, she'll be like, "Girl, put your hair up." She'll say that routinely while these movies are going on. I literally in my life had never thought about this in a Hallmark movie. Why are you mountain climbing without your hair pulled up? But Paula Patton can do no wrong in my eyes, but also you're a spy. You're trying to make it more difficult on yourself at this point. You could stand to use a hair tie. I would guess there is a sandstorm coming. That's all I got.
It's time for Mission or Impossible. It's where we further discuss the ramifications of different actions made by different characters, and we decide if they're mission or impossible. That's the best I can figure. Go ahead, Rye.
Yeah, I'm mission this week. It was a close call.
Okay, yeah, down to the wire.
Well, hold the applause, because I failed my mission, because I would have bet a lot of space bucks that Alec Baldwin was in this movie.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
You were wrong. I think what happened
was very wrong.
is when this came out initially, you didn't see it in the theater, or you did?
No. I mean, no. I'm not watching Mission Impossible yet at this point.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I think it would be easier to merge this with some others if you hadn't seen them in the theater, because with 4 years space, this movie takes place in such a vacuum in between 3 and 5, where is Tom Cruise still a bankable action hero, and it was a big deal when it came out. But watching them like you watched them, that makes sense. So
yeah. So I'm broke.
I'm going mission because
right.
Thank you. This movie reminded me of something from my childhood that I haven't thought about in a while. When the movie opens up in the prison, that's not the part. He's throwing that ball up against the wall.
Yep.
And it reminded me, as a kid, I used to play wall ball with my friends.
Wall ball, dude, you gotta go touch the wall.
Yeah,
if you
so
don't
you
catch
throw it, and if you don't catch it, you gotta go and touch
or
the
they
wall
peg you
before somebody
Peg
chucks
you.
the
That's
ball.
right.
The nice way is if they chuck it at the wall, but the real way is that they chuck it at your person.
I love that you played a version when they chucked it at the wall. It was always
it was the kinder way to play.
Or you could play, if you don't beat the ball to the wall, then you got to stand there and get pegged. That's how we played.
My God.
Yeah.
You good, bro? Yeah. But that game...
It was the 80s.
That game ruled. I haven't thought about it in forever, so thank you to Mission Impossible. Dan?
That's right. We're going to play wall ball later?
I would love to.
80s rules? You're out. You're so out.
No, we're playing the woke rules.
We're not
going to throw them at the kids.
We're
not going to peg anybody
it's
with
the
the
80s. Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm impossible this week. Say what you will. That's fine. Haters are going to hate. We see a lot of tech that obviously can't exist in real life, but the iChip scanner contact, that's got to be on the horizon, right? Is that close?
I think so.
Are we close there? We got to be close there.
What do you think, Rye? You think we're close?
I mean, we got to be rounding home. I mean, like
rounding
10
home.
Years ago,
we're going for a second lap.
Well, we got He's
rounding home and headed for first.
We had the Kodak camera that could talk.
Yeah,
I feel like we got to be
we
there.
We got to be rounding home.
Yeah. I mean, that's do you think we're closer to that or sniffing through the screen?
I think contact scanner for sure.
Brand, how about you?
Listen. I think about sniffing through the screen.
I have a scanner app on my phone that just uses one of these lenses. That could be a contact.
Put that lens in your eye.
Wi-Fi, that sucker.
But then you've got to. The problem with and as we saw in the movie, is you have to blink in order for it to take the picture, which is why it looks.
But
so
you
obvious.
don't have to blink like this.
Maybe you do. Maybe
you
the tech's
don't.
not perfect.
Maybe it's still a little shoddy.
Maybe it's a little shoddy. So you got to make it really obvious for the eye there. I don't know. I think we're close. We did it, everybody.
Hey.
Congratulations to us. Let's do it again next Monday, shall we? Go ahead, Aaron.
I'm currently watching Ghost Protocol on my phone. They're around his neck.
Oh, so you just got to chuck them. You got to chuck them. You know you're getting patted down when you go in there. You can't put them in your suit pocket. Great. Glad we figured that out.
But I mean, if they found him, he could just be like, I don't know if you've heard about Sandstorm.
They're always around the corner.
I carry my goggles, my cliff scaling goggles for Sandstorm.
They would still do the job. You wouldn't get sand in your eye with those?
They would definitely do the job.
Yeah.
It would set off alarm bells to anyone that's already suspicious that you have goggles to rock climb.
Guys, sandstorms are no joke, and they'll strike at any time. We did, everybody. We'll be back next week with what's it called?
Mission Impossible
Rogue
5.
Nation. How dare you?
Rogue Nation. So coming back for that. Until then, maybe the first to wish you a Merry
Christmas.
Girl, put your hand.
The Hallmarks of Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.